Welcome and welcome back to Last Week in Film, your weekly show recapping the past Monday to Sunday, or in this case, Monday to Monday in film. Sorry for the slight delay in upload. I was on vacation for Memorial Day weekend, so I'm back home now. So let's start off with the film news, where the first thing of note is that A24 is shutting down their documentary division. I think this is pretty big. Documentary filmmaking is already very niche and hard to come by. Theatrical releases for documentaries are really difficult to achieve, and I feel like Netflix has really cornered that documentary market, and they are making these kind of documentaries that are getting viral pretty easily because they're digestible. They have like the big clickbaity moments that you like keep watching them for, but they aren't necessarily so free in an artistic sense. They are very formulaic. And when you've seen a few Netflix documentaries, chances are you've seen a lot of them because they kind of like to repeat the same formula over and over and over again, which really works for them. But unfortunately now you have companies like A24 that have funded and created documentaries that are stepping back because they are just not financially suitable for them. Some more Marvel news this week with Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars both being delayed to December 2026 and 27. This is both good and bad news. Good news because I was really worried about these movies. They are currently filming, and initially Doomsday was scheduled to come out next May. That VFX turnaround would have been horrendous. Like, these Avengers movies are huge. I'm even surprised by the turnaround that they're making happen with Fantastic Four, where that filmed last summer, and now it's coming out this summer, and it honestly looks really good. You know, with less than a 12-month turnaround. But in scale, that is a much smaller film than an Avengers film, at least you would assume. So this delay is just going to be a lot better for the visual effects artists and allow this film to actually look pretty good. But this is a little bad because currently Dune Messiah is scheduled to be released on the exact same day as Avengers Doomsday. So some people are calling it Doomsday right now, but there's just no way that Dune will stay there because unfortunately Avengers and Dune corner a very similar nerdy action fan market, and Doomsday is bigger than Dune. So will Dune make their release earlier? Probably not. They are probably going to have to push down to 2027. Probably like maybe a November 2027 release. And finally, Netflix could be doubling down on their partnership with IMAX. You've already seen news probably about how Netflix and IMAX are going to partner to release Greta Gerwig's Narnia film in theaters, and it seems like they might do the same with a limited IMAX release for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which would be awesome and probably really solid for an Oscar campaign for Frankenstein, and might suggest that Netflix could be delving more into the theatrical model. You're seeing streaming services like Shudder and Mubi do really well, like releasing films in theaters before putting them out on their streaming service. So Netflix could try to adopt that model for some of their bigger films. This week also saw the conclusion of the Cannes Film Festival with a second half that seemed to be much stronger than the first half of the festival, which is really evident by the top two awarded films coming out during that half. First is It Was Just a Simple Accident from director Jafar Panahi, which won the Palme d'Or and is the sixth straight Neon film to be crowned with that award. Neon this year had 5 films in competition for the Palme, which is an absurd number. And a lot of those films actually did really well, but also they acquired some of them really late. Going into the festival, Neon just had A Sentimental Value and Alpha. After Alpha premiered to pretty mixed to even negative reviews, this is Julia Ducournau's follow-up to Titan, they were scrambling a little bit and picked up not only It Was Just a Simple Accident, but also The Secret Agent and Sirat. This is really great for It Was Just an Accident, though. Now this film has a chance to really compete for the Oscars in terms of Best Picture, Director, Screenplay, which is really excellent. A movie like Sentimental Value, although the Palme d'Or would have helped it, was already really large in terms of director Joachim Trier being a well-known director, and then also having some pretty well-known American actors in the cast. So I think it is better that this film won the Palme just in terms of the Oscar race. Sentimental Value, though, did win the second place prize, came out of Cannes with the longest standing ovation of the festival, and just has a lot of buzzy reviews. In terms of like the Letterboxd curve, it has the best Letterboxd curve coming out of the competition, and that's just really exciting. I can't wait to check this film out in the fall when it comes out in theaters, and it's gonna be great. And I think both of these films have a great shot at the Oscars, but so does maybe The Secret Agent, being a third possible contender for Neon, which is kind of crazy. But this film not only won one award, but two, with the director picking up the Best Director award, but also Wagner Moura winning the Best Actor award. And you saw what Brazilian cinema fans did with I'm Still Here last year. So I just cannot doubt that they could get behind this film and push for a similar campaign. Neon also picked up the Natalie Portman produced French animated film Marco, which premiered at Cannes, and this is said to possibly be the new Flow in terms of the big like international animated feature competitor, which is really exciting. And Neon just is coming out of Cannes with a incredible slate of films to really like contend at the Oscars with, and I can't wait. I really just love that Neon is bringing the heat in terms of Cannes, and it's awesome, really. Turning our attention to last week's films, you had 4 pretty big releases coming out last week, 2 being theatrical, 2 being on streaming, and I think it's pretty clear that the winner of the week was Lilo and Stitch. I didn't like this movie as much as Mission Impossible. I did not get to check out Fountain of Youth, but it also didn't get great reviews. And Fear Street Prom Queen, I didn't like, and most people that watched it also didn't like the film. But Lilo and Stitch, although you have people like me that are like, well, the animated film is just so much better and the changes that they made make this movie way worse than the animated film, general audiences seem to disagree, or general audiences just haven't seen the animated film in a really long time, so this gave them a great kick of nostalgia. Also, Stitch is still just great. The actor playing Lilo is really solid, so this is a very enjoyable family film that made almost $200 million in the US alone. In terms of Mission Impossible, that made $77 million, which is the largest opening for the franchise, and overall, this was just a really great weekend for film, and the biggest Memorial Day weekend of all time, making over $300 million total, which is just absurd. You also have 3 other films that made over $10 million during the 4-day, Final Destination making 24, Thunderbolts making 11.8, and then Sinners making 11, so that's always good to see. Then you also have Angel Studios' The Last Rodeo coming in with a little over $6 million, A24's Friendship coming in with a little over $5 million. So now just looking back at the last few years versus 2025 at this point in their respective years, 2025 does come in second place, well ahead of 2024 and quite a bit ahead of 2022, and only slightly over 100 million behind 2023. And that will probably change in June, where we have a lot of big releases for 2025. Ballerina, F1, Megan 2.0, 28 years later, while 2023 saw quite a few busts with Flash and Elemental, while the only really successful film in June for that year was Across the Spider-Verse. However, we still have a long way to go since 2019. And let's not even we don't even need to really talk about when you're even adjusting for inflation, because the comparison is crazy between now and then. In terms of trailers this week, there were only 5 really notable ones that I got to see, and in 5th is Zootopia 2. There's a lot of hype on discussing film before this trailer, and it turned out to be a total bust. That pretty much did not show you the movie at all, didn't even really give you a taste for the film, just really a big disappointment to me from Zootopia 2. Next is Alpha. Now, Alpha did only give us a really short teaser, but in this teaser, there just wasn't anything that looked super enticing. The cinematography just was not as striking as Titan. So I'm just not really as excited for this film as I feel like I could have been. I feel like this teaser, should have been a lot more just bombastic. I thought the Jurassic World Rebirth trailer was just solid. I think they did a good job not showing us too much more than the first trailer. All this really does is expand on certain scenes that we got to see in the first trailer. It doesn't show us much that is completely new, which is good. When I go into this film, I want to be surprised by certain things. But overall, this movie just looks like it could be really good. I love ScarJo. And Gareth Edwards just looks like he cooks in terms of the direction here. The cinematography and visual effects look really impressive. So I am starting to get quite a bit more excited for Jurassic World Rebirth. The Predator Killer of Killers trailer was another just solid trailer. It shows us some snippets from the 3 different stories that you will be seeing in this film, and the animation just looks great, the action looks great, and I'm pretty excited for this one. I think it could be a really solid time, and it's from the same director as Prey. And then number 1 is so clearly, it's not even close, Aronofsky's Caught Stealing trailer. Have you seen this trailer? Go and watch it. It looks funny. Austin Butler just looks like a complete movie star. It doesn't give away too much about the movie. You pretty much know that Austin Butler is cat sitting for Matt Smith with a mohawk, and somehow that gets him involved in some crime involving large sums of money, and Austin Butler is also in love with Zoe Kravitz. That's pretty much what you know. Oh, and then also there are these Jewish guy criminals that just seem absolutely hilarious, and there's that matzo ball soup scene at the very end. Yeah, those are your 5 trailers for this week, and I have no idea what we are in store for next week, but hopefully we'll get some more good stuff. In terms of actual films coming up next week, you have 3 of note that I found. Karate Kid Legends, which early reviews are making it look like this movie is solid. I need to check out a couple of Karate Kid movies before I actually get to watch this one, just because it does seem like a sequel of the original Karate Kid films, but also the reboot from 2011, I think, 2012, whenever that reboot was. I remember watching it when I was a kid, but I need to watch it now because I have no recollection of what happens in that film. Then you have Bring Her Back, which is great. My review for that film drops either on Wednesday or Thursday. I already recorded it, but I just currently set for Wednesday, might push that back to Thursday. Great movie. Check it out. Check out my review. I'm really excited about it. And then you also have Jesse Armstrong's Mountainhead coming out on HBO Max. They say that they're HBO Max now, but the app still says Max. So I don't really know what to call them in this weird middle stage. I'll just say Max for now. But yeah, so Mountainhead, which is from Jesse Armstrong, and he's the creator of Succession. So this could be really good, like a big sleeper hit. And aside from that, That's all I got for last week in film. Please let me know your thoughts. Is there anything that I missed? Are you excited for these upcoming films? What did you think of last week's films and film news? What film from Cannes are you most excited for? Please feel free to let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. And I'll see you all next week. Take care.